How's it going out there, YouTubers? Cyberneticshark here with another new movie review for you. So let's get right into this review and see what I saw. So at the beginning of March, I had the chance of checking out an all-new awesome Marvel film that came out. Now, I know it's been a month since it came out, and I'm just getting around to putting up the review now, but this is the first chance I've had to be able to get it all done and upload for you guys to watch, so I hope you enjoy. But anyways, at the beginning of last month, I had the chance of checking out an awesome new Marvel film, like I was saying. And I actually ended up seeing it 3 times in theaters already. And I actually saw it, like, the same week, all 3 consecutively, with 3 different people, which I think is hilarious and really fun, and I'm glad I got to do that. Because this movie is really fantastic. I was really skeptical at first, but it ended up being a really fun film. And that happens to be the film called Captain Marvel. So our first iteration, finally, of seeing Captain Marvel on the big screen, finally got it in the, female lead role, that the first female-led MCU film, anyways. And it really was a very decent and really well-executed, Marvel film. Now, this film happens to be directed by, actually, a duo that actually have directed a couple other films that were considered, one was like a direct-to-DVD type of deal, and the other one was, in theaters, and was considered kind of a moderate success. It got some, award attention when it first came out, and had a, Oscar-worthy performance by an actor in the film. And they happen to be the duo of Anne Boden and Ryan Fleck. Oh, yeah. So Anne Boden and Ryan Fleck are a duo, filmmakers. They've written stuff together, they've directed stuff together, and they've, put out a few films that were considered successful. Now, the 2 films that I'll be talking about that they've done, one of them I've seen, the other one I haven't had the chance to see, but it has a very decent cast, the one I haven't seen. Now, the first film happens to be an Oscar worthy type of performance film that got some attention for its lead actor because he just was really great in the film. It was considered kind of like a Oscar buzz at the time in 2007 when this film came out. And that happens to be the Ryan Gosling-led film, The Half Nelson. Oh, yeah. So that interesting film was actually directed by this duo, and I thought they did a really decent job with the film. It was a very interesting film. It wasn't one of my favorite films. I thought Ryan Gosling was really fun in it. It was really good. But I didn't think it was any Oscar-worthy performance. I didn't think that the film itself was anything special. But definitely was an interesting story and an interesting and well-directed film. Now, the other film that this duo has directed is a Zach Galifianakis film that came out a few years ago. That is kind of a comedy drama type of film, because it does have a very dramatic element to it, but then it has comedic elements to it too, because the main character of Zach Galifianakis definitely has some sort of comedic element to it that I've seen from the trailer and so forth. And the film is called It's Kind of a Funny Story. Oh, yeah. So, like I said, I haven't had a chance to actually see this film, but from other people that I know, and from the trailers and what I've read, it's a very decent and interesting film, and has a really good all-star cast, and Zach Galifianakis was really good in it. And from the trailer I saw, it looked like that, Anne and Ryan did a really good job of directing it, giving us a different type of take on a film, and just giving us an interesting and definitely a different type of dramedy type of film, and that they did a really good job. Now, when it comes to directing Captain Marvel, I thought that both of them did a really fantastic job. I didn't know much about these directors, and I wasn't sure if they were going to really be able to catch the MCU's type of, charge that they have right now, this, on fire element. And just with really good directors, and everyone that's directed something in MCU has just made a really fantastic film. And they actually brought it. They actually made a really decent film, gave us our first, real look at the Skrulls, giving us our first look at Captain Marvel herself, and really gave us a really awesome origin story. And I actually was really surprised at, like I said, how well it was directed and how they really, encompassed it and made it a really fun film. I was very hesitant, like I said, because I'm not a big fan of Brie Larson. I don't think she was the right fit for the character, but she did do a decent job in the film, and definitely was, brought to life, Captain Marvel. So this movie has an all-star cast that I think is just a really great ensemble cast. Except for one of the actors, like I said, I'm not a big fan of hers, but still at the same time, she did a decent enough job and was really fun in the film. Now, to start off this awesome cast, we have none other than Captain Marvel herself, Miss Brie Larson. Now, Brie Larson you might recognize from her Academy Award winning performance. You might recognize her from a few other films over the years. She's actually doing her directorial debut, I believe, really soon. It's being released. It's about unicorns or something like that. It sounds interesting, but definitely something I'm not a big, probably not be a big fan of. But she also was in that Glass Castle movie with Woody Harrelson, and she's been in definitely quite a few movies over the years. Now, a couple of movies I've seen her in, one of them I thought she was fun in, and the other one I thought she was just, I don't know why she won the Academy Award for the performance, because I didn't think it was the best performance of that year for an actress. But still, these two movies were actually decent films, and one of them was okay film, but the other one definitely was an awesome film. The first film I'm going to talk about is the awesome 2012 film that came out that stars the awesome Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. And that, of course, is the awesome film 21 Jump Street. Oh, yeah. So this awesome comedy action film is based on the TV series from the 80s that starred Johnny Depp and, a huge cast of awesome actors. And this film was kind of like a farce about it, but at the same time kind of giving it that cop action-packed comedy element to the film. It just was a really fantastic film. And Brie Larson actually plays one of the love interests of Jonah Hill in the film. And I thought that she was really fun in this film. I really enjoyed her character, her interaction with Jonah Hill. I thought she was funny. I thought she was very campy in it. I liked how sarcastic she was throughout the film. And just like her performance, I thought was really decent in this film. Was fun to watch. It most definitely showed that she does have some good acting chops, but definitely not Oscar-worthy chops. Now, the second film I'm going to be talking about that she was in that I've seen, that I didn't think was a great movie. I didn't think her performance was worthy of an Oscar, like I said. But this film was considered like a huge box office success for what it was, and I just don't think it was anything worthy or that great. And that happens to be the film called Room. Yeah, Room. Now, if you've seen Room and, you're a fan of it, that's fine. I understand. A lot of people are going to love it. I just thought it was not that great of a film. I didn't think it was Oscar-worthy contender. But this film definitely was a trip, of a film. Simple fact that, you're dealing with a individual that unfortunately, has a child with a man that she didn't want to have a child with, where she's been captive for 20 years or however many years it was, and, kept at, against her will and stuff like that, and, somebody having to deal with the, after effects of getting out of that situation. Most definitely is a very frightening and sad situation, especially when you see that in, real life. But I didn't feel that Brie Larson brought to life really what a person was going through. I don't think she was anything that spectacular, and I thought she was okay. I thought a lot of the ensemble actors that were in the film were a lot better, and I thought the main kid was really amazing. I thought he was fantastic, and I really enjoyed him in the film. And I thought he was really the reason why I kept watching the film, was because I just thought Jack Tremblay was so good. And he definitely deserved an Oscar for that performance, because he was really fantastic for such a little kid. And he really brought together that film. Now, it comes to playing Captain Marvel. I thought Brie Larson, like I said, did a great job. I was really impressed with her performance. I really enjoyed her character. I thought it was definitely a better performance than performance of Room. I definitely thought that she, has matured in her acting since Room, and that she really brought an interesting flair to the Captain Marvel character. I definitely, I'm not too familiar with the character from the comics because I really never read the comics. But definitely this film and her performance really has made me want to learn more about Captain Marvel. And I'm definitely going to be reading some of the comic books to kind of freshen myself up and see what, Captain Marvel's all about. But she definitely did do a great job and was very interesting and definitely was worth watching. And I'm looking forward to definitely checking her performance out again when I, see this movie again when I buy it on Blu-ray or 4K. Next up on this awesome cast of Captain Marvel, we have none other than an awesome gentleman that I think is a fantastic actor. He's so fun. He's awesome. He loves using the word mother effer. He has been in so many great movies over the last 30 years, and it just is an awesome actor and just a person too. And that, of course, is Mr. Samuel L. Jackson. Oh yeah, who doesn't love Samuel L. Jackson? He's the bomb. Anyway, so Samuel L. Jackson is once again playing Nick Fury, this time a younger version of himself. And that was really interesting to see, especially with the digitization they did to make him look, 20 years younger. And I thought that they did a fantastic job with that. And I thought that he, once again, just brought a great performance and just was really awesome. Now, a couple of films I really enjoyed Sam Jackson in, and he's been in a slew of films over there. He was in Jackie Brown, he was in Pulp Fiction, he was in Jurassic Park. He was in 187, the film, The Negotiator. He's been in a slew of films. Now, but a couple films I really enjoyed him, thought he was fantastic in, was none other than an awesome film that came out in 1996 starring Sandra Bullock and Matthew McConaughey called A Time to Kill. Now, this is a very underrated film, I feel. I think it's a fantastic crime drama film, and Sam Jackson's performance in this film was so amazing. He played that character to the T and was just like perfect, and I don't see anybody else playing that role because he just was so awesome as that character. And I really enjoyed his performance of film and just how real and genuine his character was. And I mean, everyone in that film was just really good. I mean, from Matthew McConaughey to Sandra Bullock too, all of them played this character so perfectly, and they all worked so well together. Just a really awesome performance by Samuel Jackson in that film, and definitely if you haven't had a chance to see this film, definitely check it out, people. It's worth the watch. Such an amazing film. 1996, A Time to Kill. Really fantastic crime drama film. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Worth the watch. So the second film that I really enjoyed that Sam Jackson was in is an awesome film that came out in 2017, and he's currently filming this sequel that's going to be coming out next year for this awesome film that stars the awesome Ryan Reynolds. Now, this film is just a awesome action-packed comedy film, that just is so fun, super hilarious, and had a great cast and so well directed. And that, of course, is the film called The Hitman's Bodyguard. Oh, yeah. Woohoo! Absolutely loved this film. I thought it was so fantastic, and Sam Jackson was just so hilarious in this film. I loved every ounce and bit of his character in this film. I loved the tattoos that he wears. I love his interaction with Selma Hayek in the film and how he reacts with everyone in the film, and just like how casual he is about everything and his laughing and just his whole characterization and some of the one-liners he gives was just absolutely hilarious. Absolutely perfection in this film. He was so good and awesome. Such a great role. If you haven't seen The Hitman's Bodyguard, definitely check it out for his performance in it. Really awesome, really funny, and just classic Samuel Jackson. Kind of like along the lines to me, like his performance in it was very similar to his Jackie Brown lines and his character in that, and in Pulp Fiction, and just like things like that, like just some of those great lines, because Sam Jackson just has those great lines that he does sometimes, and you can't get them out of your head. This film is full of those, and he's so stinking hilarious in it. Really fantastic film. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's worth the watch. Now, like I was saying before, like I said, his performance in Captain Marvel, once again, was awesome as Nick Fury. I can't say anything else about that. It was just another great performance by him. He was so freaking hilarious with the cat in the film, too. I thought that was absolutely funny and hilarious, how he reacted with the cat. And he's like, oh, little kitty, oh, you're so cute, let me pet you and stuff. Oh, my God, that was just freaking hilarious. And his reaction to when you find out what the cat really is was really awesome, too. And he's just like, huh? I was holding that thing? It just was so stinking funny. Great performance. All I can say is, once again, great to see him as Nick Fury. Seeing him at a different stage of Nick Fury too, that was interesting because he's kind of new to his character's role in this film because it's set back in the '90s, and so he's not like so you know, battle ridden really from what he's experienced that we've seen him like in Winter Soldier or in Infinity Wars or in any of the films, you know, over the last, you know, 6 or 7 years that have been out. And he just really, I really enjoyed his performance and how he gave us a whole new light to who Nick Fury is, about his eye, and just like how this inspired him to become the Nick Fury he is too. And I thought that was really fantastic. Really well done job. Definitely check it out for Nick and Mr. Samuel Jackson. He was awesome in it. Really fantastic. Next up on the awesome cast roster of this film is none other than an awesome character actor that I think is an awesome actor. He's been in a ton of films over the years. One of the first films I actually saw him in came out in 2000, and I didn't know his name at the time. I just remember seeing him in the film and thinking, oh my god, this guy is hilarious, and, you know, thought he was just a really fun actor. And that, of course, is Mr. Ben Mendelsohn. Now, if you're not familiar with him, he's been in a slew of films over the last, you know, several years. He's actually kind of grown in popularity, I would say, over the last 5 years. He's been in a lot more films. But definitely he's a great character actor, like I said, and just a really awesome actor, too, because he could really play chameleons. He does that really good. And I'm really impressed with that because, like, a few of his films, I really, like, he's played such different characters. And I think that's really impressive. You know, kind of like Stanley Tucci or Jonathan Lithgow or, you know, Liam Neeson and stuff like that. You know, it's like those character actors that are able and, you know, to completely change their whole acting apparatus as they go through a new movie, from movie to movie. And I feel that's how Ben Mendelsohn is. I think he just does a really good job with that. Now, a couple of films I really enjoyed him and thought he was fantastic in was actually the first movie I ever saw him in. Like I said, it came out in 2000, had an all-star cast. It had Robin Tooney in it. It had Bill Paxton in it, Chris O'Donnell, huge cast, directed by Michael Campbell, that directed a few of the James Bond films. And it's just a really fantastic, awesome, action-packed survival film. And that, of course, is the film called Vertical Limit. Oh, yeah. So Vertical Limit was actually one of the last films I got to see at my hometown theater back in 2000 before I moved away from the area. And I remember walking to the theater, which was actually a good, like, 20 miles down the road, to see this movie. And I remember just going in and watching and go, oh my god, this movie is so freaking awesome and just really fantastic. And I loved Ben Mendelsohn's character in the film. He was so stinking funny. He had his sidekick brother that was in the film, and they had some of the greatest one-liners throughout the film that was just so stinking funny. And I laughed my butt off at his character. And I was like, who is this guy? I've never seen him before. And so, like, when I saw him in something like 10 years down the road, I was like, holy crap, that's the same guy. And I'm like, I love this guy. Why haven't I seen him in anything? And he's such a fantastic actor. I loved him in that film, and he just was really good in that film. Really showed his great character acting chops in that film. Another great film he was in, Mr. Ben Mendelsohn, was an awesome film that came out last year that was directed by Steven Spielberg and has an all-star cast, and also just has a ton of 80s references because it's all about video games and stuff like that and all that kind of cool stuff, all the 80s jazz, even the Iron Giant from 1999 as well is in the film. And this film was just so amazing, so technologically advanced. It was a superb film. And that happens to be the film called Ready Player One. Oh yeah. Woohoo! Ready Player One, people. Such an awesome film. Now, this awesome film, Ben Mendelsohn plays actually the bad guy of the film, and I really enjoyed it. And I thought it was fun seeing him as like a bad guy character and seeing him kind of like, he kind of wants to be a bad guy, but at the same time, he doesn't want to be a bad guy. But at the same time, it's like he has this idea in his head and he's got to do it. And I loved that presentation of what he brought to the film. He was just so fantastic in the film. And I thought he worked really well with everyone that was in the film. And I just thought he brought a great presence to the film. and just was a really great bad guy character. And I really enjoyed it, and I thought he was really fantastic in it, and just was really awesome. Now, when it comes to him playing the main Skrull in the film, I absolutely loved his character. I thought he was so superb, so awesome, and even under that makeup, you really could see his facial expressions, and just he brought to life this Skrull character that you really don't know much about, and unless you see the movie, because I don't recall him actually being an actual main character in the MCU. But still, at the same time, he just was a fantastic character and was really brought to life by Mendelsohn, and he did such a fantastic and awesome job. I really enjoyed the character, really enjoyed his performance, and I just thought it was a really well done performance as well, and a really great addition to seeing what the Skrulls are like, how they look, and just he had a lot of great kind of one-liners in the film too. Just really fantastic in the film. Definitely a must-see if you love Ben Mendelsohn. He's definitely worth checking out in Captain Marvel. Really fantastic, really well done. An awesome characterization of his Skrull character. So that brings me to the last actor in this awesome film that was just really fun to see in the film and was a great addition to the film itself. Now, this character or actor we have seen in a ton of films over the years. He was in Contagion. He was in Repo, the remake, Repo Man. He was in the two great Robert Downey Jr. films. He was in King Arthur. He has been in the Harry Potter universe. He's been in a ton of films over the last 30 years. And just a really fun and awesome actor. And that, of course, is Mr. Jude Law. Now, Jude Law actually plays a main character that is a part of the force that Captain Marvel is part of in the film. And he plays a type of Captain Marvel too as well. And a part of a race from the planet that Captain Marvel thinks she's actually from. Now, his character was really interesting in the film too as well. He was definitely, not exactly, wasn't sure what his character was going to be, but he ends up actually being a bad guy, and I was really surprised by that. And I thought that he did a really good job, because you like him, but at the same time you're like, I hate him because he's a bad guy. But at the same time, I can't help but liking him. And I thought Jude did a really good job with that. Now, a couple of films I really enjoyed Jude Law in, and I think he's fantastic in, was an awesome movie that came out in 2008 starring the great Robert Downey Jr. And he plays his sidekick in this film that's directed by Mr. Guy Ritchie. And that, of course, is the awesome film Sherlock Holmes. Oh, yeah. So Jude Law plays Mr. Watson in the awesome Sherlock Holmes film series that Robert Downey Jr. plays Sherlock Holmes himself. And he just was so awesome as Watson. I absolutely love him. I thought he was so fantastic in the films. I love his relationship with Robert Downey Jr. in the films. I loved how they interacted and how he helped with the cases and how kind of badass he was and how he kicked butt and stuff. And I just thought he was a really great, ad or great person to pick for Watson to be along with Robert Downey Jr. Because Robert Downey Jr. is such a strong characterization of himself, really. And just such a great actor. You need somebody that was, up there in higher caliber with acting to go along with that. And I thought Jude Law was a perfect candidate for that. And he really proved it in the film, and he was a great addition to that awesome film series. And it's a really fun Watson to see versus other Watsons I've seen over the years in Sherlock Holmes type of films. And he's such a great actor, and it was really fun to see him in that film, and he just was so much fun. Really great film. If you haven't seen Sherlock Holmes, definitely check it out, people. It's worth the watch. So that brings me to the second film that Jude Law was in that I really enjoyed and thought he was really fantastic in. Now, this film is a sequel to the first film that came out in 2016 and is an extended part of the awesome Harry Potter universe. Now, Jude Law plays a role that originally Richard Harris had portrayed in the first two Harry Potter films, and then the rest of the films, 3 through 6, Michael Gambon played this character. And of course, that is in the awesome film, second film of this awesome series, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. 2 Crimes of Grindelwald. Oh yeah. So Jude Law plays young Dumbledore in this awesome film series, and it was so awesome to pick him because he actually was so perfect the role. Even though it wasn't a huge role in this one, it's going to be interesting to see his role as it progresses throughout the other films. But even in the brief parts he had in the film, he was so perfect as a younger Dumbledore. And kind of like to see, Dumbledore younger before all the experience he has that we see him in the Harry Potter series was really interesting to see that be plot out. And I thought Jude Law did a great job of portraying that for what little screen time he got. And he just was so fantastic in the film, and I really enjoyed him and thought he just did a really fantastic job. Really am pleased with his performance as Dumbledore, younger Dumbledore, and looking forward to seeing future the Fantastic Beasts with him as Dumbledore. But when it comes to his character, like I was saying earlier, I thought he played a great bad guy. Thought he was really fantastic in the film. I really enjoyed how he conversed with Captain Marvel, Brie Larson in the film. I thought that he had a great repertoire with everyone that he was involved with in the film. It was great to see Djimon Hounsou come back as the character from the first Guardians of the Galaxy. It was also awesome seeing Ronan the Accuser again, played by Lee Pace. That was really awesome too. So it was kind of interesting to see a little bit of Guardians of the Galaxy characters, get a little extra screen time and see that kind of part of the MCU extended a little bit. And so that was given to us from really Captain Marvel finally coming into the MCU timeline. And I thought they really did a great job with that and giving us extended, kind of giving us a little bit more of that space MCU versus just Earth MCU. And I thought that was really fantastic and did a really great job. And just a great performance and all by everyone that was involved with the film. So if you're not familiar with what Captain Marvel's about, basically Captain Marvel is another origin story film of introducing a new character to the MCU, of the character Captain Marvel, which is aka Kara Danvers, who is originally from Earth that gets spiked with these the Tesseract basically explodes and gives her powers basically, and she's led to believe that she's actually a part of a race of a planet when she's not. She's just a human with powers from the Tesseract basically. And this character basically we're getting to see is one of the most powerful type of characters in the MCU, and we'll get to see more of that when it comes to Avengers Endgame that comes out the end of this month. But this is really just an origin story about who she was, how she got her powers, basically how she knows Nick Fury, how she relates to the Avengers, and just like how she ends up coming into being in Avengers Endgame. And I thought they, like I said, did a really fantastic job of putting that all together, making it a cohesive story, and just made a really fantastic new Marvel film. Really well done, really fantastic, and really enjoyed the film. Really huge fan of this film now, and I'm glad I actually saw it. And like I said, I've seen it 3 times now, and I want to see it more because I just thought it was such a great film. Giant 10 Golden Movie Boxes up on this one. Really fantastic film. Really enjoyed it. Looking forward to seeing more of Brie Larson as Captain Marvel and seeing just Captain Marvel in the MCU. Really fantastic film. If you haven't seen it, go check it out now. Out in theaters now, people. Really fun and awesome. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. And also, thank you for subscribing. If it's your first time here, if you've been here before and you haven't hit that subscribe button, what do I do? Got to impersonate a scroll to get you to hit that subscribe button? Come on, people. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this video and the awesome videos I put up. And as always, people, keep your eyes out for any older, newer videos you might not have seen mine yet. And as always, people, check out the awesome Stardust app, where you can watch 3 to 30-second little mini reviews, TV shows, trailers, movies, anything your heart desires, where there's awesome contests and polls always going on. And also, it's an awesome free app that you can get in either the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. So that's something that interests you. Go ahead and download it, create a profile, look for me under the Cybernetic 13, follow me, and I'll follow you back. And as always, people, catch you in the next one.